Hey guys, Chicago injury lawyer Scott DeSalvo here, and I am shooting you another video. And the topic of the video that I'm about to shoot you is the harsh economics of your injury case. So what do I mean by that? Well, it's the most boring title ever. I might come up with a snappier title, but that's basically the topic. So let me tell you what the video is about. I had a call from a client of mine. I had represented her in the past, and her case in the past was a very challenging case. And I spent a lot of time on it, and I spent a lot of time talking to her, explaining things to her, and nothing was ever good enough. Nothing was ever good enough. So I was actually a little bit surprised when she came back to me several years later. So, in other words, that first case, hard case, weird liability, weird medical choices by her. Her medical was sort of all over the place, which is why, if you guys have watched my other videos, especially my video on how to make your case $1 million monster with clean medical, um, in that video I talk about the importance of having a clean medical record. In other words, make your appointments, no treatment gaps, no weird statements that you fell off a ladder in the middle of your treatment and made everything worse, stuff like that, right? But her treatment was all over the place, did a great job for her. By the grace of God, we got an offer. And so she brought another case back to me a couple years later, but she hired another attorney who's got a last name similar to me, who's a major advertiser. And predictably, they treated her like crap. Now, I don't know whether she meant to hire me and hired this other guy because his last name was similar to mine, or whether she just saw his TV ad or his billboards or whatever and hired him instead because she thought, she believed the hype. She's like, oh, well, he's got a big billboard, therefore he must be the best lawyer in Chicago, right? Well, she found out quick, never talked to a lawyer. No one knew who she was at that law firm, and I don't think a lawyer ever touched the case. So within 2 weeks of representation, she was shopping the case around, and she told me, I told her what I always tell people. I'm really not interested in taking cases off other lawyers, you know, but if you're going to fire them anyway, or you've already fired them and you're just dialing different numbers in the phone book, then it's something we can talk about. So she's like, yeah, I hired him 2 weeks ago. I haven't heard anything from anyone. And it's just bad news all the way around. I'm like, all right, I'll represent you. And, history repeated itself. Okay. Small case, crappy insurance company, weird medical decisions. And by the grace of God, I got her an offer. And, look, it wasn't a great offer, but this was literally the kind of case that I could easily see there being zero. Okay. And I'm going to tell you, man, I put in the time on this case. She came to my office mad about a bunch of stuff, so I talked her off the ledge. She's yelled and screamed at my entire staff every time she calls the office. She's always dissatisfied. She's always accusing us of not working on her case. She always tells me that I'm not honest. And that's my hot button issue. Anybody who tells me that I'm lazy or that I'm not honest, ooh, that's my biggest test of my ability to be mature and control my emotions. But we finally got an offer on her case. I reviewed her file again, and boy, were there problems with the case. I'm talking about 2 massive treatment gaps, a new body part complaint after more than a month had passed after the accident. So we got emergency room, doctor visit, physical therapy, where none of this body part is complained of. It's a completely different part of the body. And then, 40 days after the crash, she starts complaining about this body part. And there's other things in the records that make that complaint kind of hard to swallow. So, anyway, angry, super angry, yelling, screaming, carrying on. And at some point, the light switch went off in my head. I'm like, some people can't be helped. This woman thinks her few months of treatment, soft tissue injury, there was an objective injury in her case, but her case was a very small case. And if you've watched my other videos, you know I like to help people. But there's only so many hours and so many touches and so many minutes and hours, phone calls, letters, and all the rest of it that I can afford to do myself on a case like that. And when you've got a client like that, nobody else in the office is really qualified to deal with a client who is that angry and that distraught every time they contact the office. And so the reason I'm talking about the unfortunate economics of injury is that it costs me a certain amount of money to keep the lights on. It costs me a certain amount of money for employees, rent, insurance, uh, everything. You know what it's like to go fill up your gas tank at the gas pump these days. You know what rent is like or mortgages are like. And so it past a certain point, after I've explained everything and after I realize the client is inconsolable, I have to cut it off. So, um, you know, we, I just, listen, I'm going to be honest with you. I went above and beyond again. I talked to the lady for like 40 minutes on the telephone. We were making no progress. The accusations against me kept getting more wild. I explained everything in an email, a letter, a phone call, a follow-up email, and the client just says, well, just drop my case, just drop my case. Well, I think some clients have been told that if they tell their lawyer to drop the case, they can then call the insurance company and settle, or they can then go hire another lawyer and the first lawyer doesn't get paid. That's not how it works. One of the first things lawyers do when they're represented is they send out what's called a lien letter to the insurance company, so the insurance company knows that that lawyer has an attorney's fee and case costs lien on the case. So things did not end well. Later, the client ended up emailing me and, didn't apologize, but reached out with a little olive branch. And, I was conciliatory, but I said, listen, I'm not screwing you over. I'm not lying to you, no matter what other lawyers or other people in your life are doing. I'm telling you that in this case, if we go to trial, you have a very good chance of losing. And if they call your doctor as a witness, they will shred your doctor up like Swiss cheese. And your doctor will be angry about it. He will be unhappy about it. He will feel uncomfortable, and he will probably fold on the witness stand and not give you the opinion you need because the facts are bad. And I don't know the facts are bad until you tell me you're done going to the doctor and I order your medical records. And unlike so many law firms, we actually look at the medical records and do a summary of what's in the medical records so we can evaluate the cases exactly the way I did for this lady. But she had in her mind that it was a certain kind of case with a certain kind of value. And believe me, my God, do I have cases in my office where it's nothing but a fight. But, if it's a fight that we can win, I'll do it. But if it's a fight that we can't win, what the heck are we doing, right? That's when it's time to have a come to Jesus talk with the client, and, we got to do the best we can. So there's only so many hours I can work on a case like that. And when I see what is at the end of the road, when I see what our outcome at the finish line is going to look like, and it's a zero, I'm not just going to keep fighting. I'm not just going to keep burning time. And I cannot have 10 telephone conversations, 10 letters, 10 emails, you know, 100 accusations against me as a person, my honesty, my professionalism, because I know a client like that is never going to be happy, no matter what I put in their pocket, and they're going to badmouth me. They're going to tell their friends, oh, this guy screwed me over and I should have gotten $1 million. And that's why, I can't work with clients like that. And I'll work with them and I'll help them if I can, but there are only so many hours in a day, and it's a small case after all. I can't work on cases where my attorney's fee means I'm making as much money as a kid on a paper route. I do it on some cases to help people out of a jam, but you know, if you trust me to be your lawyer, you must trust my evaluation of the case, whether you like it or not. So, uh, unhappy ending for this young lady, for this client, no matter what, whether she ultimately ends up settling the case or walking away from it, which is just a head scratcher for me. I don't know why you'd walk away from a case where you're otherwise putting thousands of dollars in your pocket and your doctor bills are getting taken care of out of the settlement. I don't know why you'd want that hanging over your head because you're disappointed in the amount. But see what happens there for her. She's still got about, as of the time of this video, about a year to decide what she wants to do, assuming the insurance company keeps the offer on the table. So anyway, um, that's that, and that's that. I will sign off now by saying thank you for watching. I appreciate your viewership. And if you or anyone you know needs a lawyer, please consider giving me a call, 312-500-4500. You can call anytime, day or night. Sorry, I'm lit up like Broadway here because somebody in front of me has their headlights on in my parking garage here. Anytime, day or night, 312-500-4500, completely free to talk to me. I'll answer your questions, and if you have a case, we can talk about me representing you. Okay? What else? If you're not ready to talk to a lawyer, please check out the links in the description. I have 2 really cool tools where you can find out for free custom information about your situation without talking to a lawyer. Cheap, easy, free, and I wrote them myself. So they've got killer information. Case cash calculator, good case calculator, links in the description, right on my website, free to use. Please consider subscribing and liking this video, and check out my YouTube channel. I got well over 300 videos now explaining how injury cases work. Finally, if you enjoy the content, if you enjoy my information, in addition to subscribing, if you wouldn't mind giving me a 5-star review on Google, that would really help me out. Link in the description. You just go to that webpage on your phone, tablet, or computer. Takes you right to the page. Click 5 stars, say a kind word, hit submit. 5 or 10 seconds of inconvenience for you, but a huge favor to me that I would truly appreciate. So once again, hope your family is well. Hope you are doing well. If there's anything I can do for you, give me a call. 312-500-4500. Scott DeSalvo signing off. Thanks again. Bye-bye.